Good afternoon, and welcome in the name of our Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. I'd like to thank each one of you for coming here today and being part of this gathering in love and support for each other for the celebration of the life of Lauren Laverne Longman. And we would say, what? Ike. Ike. I'd like to point out that in your bulletin, there is time for memories, to share memories. So I want you to think about that. Think about something that, a good fond memory that you have, Ike, funny, serious, whatever it might be that would allow us to get to know Ike even a little more. And if you have time afterwards, I'd like you to come up to take a look here. I know some of you in the back cannot see this, but this is part of the Rio Trio. And I know the pictures, you're not going to be able to really visualize it. But take a look at that, because I thought that was quite special. And there are some pictures up there in the front, in the foyer. And please take a look at those also. There is a book going around. We did find a guest book. It is going around, so please make sure that each one of you sign it. For our scripture reading comes from John 14, verses 1 through 6, and this is from the New International Version. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I'm going. I'd like us to continue to follow in your bulletin. The hymn is from the kind of brown maroon hymn books. And I think there's a couple in each pew. And it's hymn 87. And could we stand as we sing this? And remain standing as Craig Foster will bring the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is done in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And suffer us not to be led into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Lauren Laverne Longmore, 89, formerly of Marshfield, Wisconsin, entered heaven on December 25th, 2014 at Valley Baptist Medical Center in Harlingen, Texas, following a bicycle accident. Lauren was born to Ernest and Nellie Brown Longmore on August 16, 1925, in Warba, Minnesota. Blond and small for his age, people called him Lauren, a tow-headed tyke that was soon shortened to his lifelong nickname, Ike. Though some called him Tadpole, he grew up with a richness of
cousins and Lauren grew up in Warba, Minnesota with his parents and 6 sisters. He graduated from Greenway High School in Coleraine, Minnesota. In 1943, he soon joined the Army Air Corps to fight in World War II. He trained as a radio operator for B-17 bombers and arrived in Numpstead, England to fly with Joe Kaminsky's crew. 3 times Lauren's crew was scheduled to run bombing raids over Berlin, and 3 times their mission was scrapped. On the 4th day, the war in Europe ended. After his honorable discharge, Lauren returned to northern Minnesota, where he married Eileen Hendrickson Laudenbach on September 15, 1950. Lauren, Eileen, and Eileen's daughter, Carol, moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Lauren completed a degree in physical therapy as the family grew with Valerie Jean's birth in Grand Rapids, Minnesota in 1952. Lauren began a long and successful career in physical therapy in Neenah, where Jeffrey Mark was born in 1954, and Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Gary, Victor, and Kevin Dean were born in 1959 and 1960, respectively. Before settling in Marshfield, Wisconsin, after starting and growing a substantial physical therapy department at St. Joseph's Hospital, Lauren identified a need for services at smaller hospitals and nursing homes throughout the state. He began TheraCare Incorporated, one of the first independent physical therapy services, in 1976, and continued serving patients along with a staff of others until his retirement in 1988. After retirement, Lauren and Eileen spent their years with friends and family in northern Minnesota in the summer, Harlingen, Texas in the winter, traveling east to connect with Lauren's World War II bomber crew in the spring, and at their home along the Little Au Plain River in the town of McMillan near Marshfield in the autumn. Lauren enjoyed fishing, biking, golf, cribbage, and performing with musical groups, using his love of oldies, country western, and cowboy songs. Following Eileen's death in 2011, Lauren continued his annual migration. In time, he met Jan Krotow, the widowed sister of a former employer from his high school years. Lauren and Jan spent many lovely months together before her passing in August of 2014. He is survived by his 5 children and their mates, Carol Ann Bradford, Valerie Jean Gangor, Jeffrey Mark Longmore and his friend Mary, Gary Victor Longmore, Kevin Dean Longmore, and their offspring, Jack Bradford, Michael Bradford and his daughter Haley Hopkins, and her children Christine Bradford and their children Jenna and Justin, Jody Bradford and her daughter Laren Woodward, Jill Bradford, Mahari Michael Gungor and their children Evan Bennett and Megan, Christopher Gungor and their children Austin Carver and Wyatt Carver, Jessica Longmore and their son Xavier, Ryan Longmore and his daughter Kelsey, Katie Longmore, Benjamin Longmore, June Coons and their children Joel Longmore and their daughter Kyan and Shannon Longmore. He is further survived by 2 sisters, Bonnie Longmore Yeager and her children, and Alice Longmore Cohaver and their children, brother-in-law Victor Cohaver and special niece Gloria Lloyd Lossing. Lauren is preceded in death by his wife Eileen Loretta Hendrickson Longmore, his special friend Janice Couteau, his parents Ernest, Victor, and Nellie Viola Brown Longmore, sisters Lois Berg, Arlene Nelson, Wilma Tobeck, Merla White, and their spouses, and a granddaughter-in-law, Lisa Foltz Gunger. Funeral service was held at 11 a.m. Saturday, June 3rd, 2015, at Rem's Funeral Home in Marshfield, with Pastor John Knipp officiating. Entombment was at McMillan Memorial Gardens in the town of McMillan, Marathon County, Wisconsin. Condolences may be sent online to www.rembsfh.com.
They did their share. On Veterans Day, we honor soldiers who protect our nation. For their service as our warriors, they deserve our admiration. Some of them were drafted, some were volunteers. For some, it was just yesterday. For some, it's been many years. In the jungle or in the desert, on land or on sea, they did whatever was assigned to produce a victory. Some came back, some didn't. They defended us everywhere. Some saw combat, some rode a desk, and all of them did their share. No matter what the duty, for low pay and little glory, these soldiers gave up normal lives for duties mundane and gory. Let every veteran be honored. Don't let politics get in the way. Without them, freedom would have died. What they did, we can't repay. We owe so much to them who kept us safe from terror. So when we see a uniform, let's say thank you to every wearer.
Ike loved music, and he always came and he always had a song to sing. But we picked out two of his favorites. One of them was Galloway Bay, and the other was Mansion Over the Hilltop. And every year we sang those two songs somewhere along in the course of the wintertime. And so we'd like to share these with you today.
If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Galloway, and watch the sun go down on Galloway Bay, just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the women in the meadow making hay, to sit beside a campfire in the cabin and watch the barefoot gossams as they play. For the breeze is blowing across the sea to Ireland, are perfumed by the heather as they go, and the women in the uplands leaving gravels speak a language that the strangers do not know. But the strangers came and tried to teach us their ways. They scorned us just for being what we are, but they might as well go searching at the moonbeams or light a penny candle from a star. If there's ever going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's going to be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven on that fair land across the Irish Sea.
His other was Mansion Over the Hilltop, and I can just imagine that Ike's in that mansion over the hilltop at this time.
I'm satisfied, just cottage below, with a little silver and a little gold. But in that city where the lights must shine, I want a gold one, that silver line. I got a mansion just over that hilltop in that bright land where they'll never grow old. And someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk the streets there while appearance gone. So often tempted, tormented and tested, and like a prophet I threw a stone. And though I find here no permanent dwelling, I know he'll give me a mansion my own. I got a mansion just over the hilltop in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk the streets of dearest Lord. Don't think I'm poor or deserted or lonely. I'm not discouraged, I'm heaven bound. I'm just a pilgrim in search of a city. I want a mansion, a park and a crown. I got a mansion just over the hilltop in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we'll have more wonder, we'll walk the streets that are dearest home.
I left my itinerary. Am I next? All right. Okay. They put it. As you can tell from the obituary, Ike had a very, very full life, and had a tremendous family. Has a tremendous family. It was loved by many, many people and respected by many, many more. My relationship with Ike was only at the wintertime, and mainly was centered around singing. And so this is what I'll share with you today, but I'm not going to take a long time to do this because I'd like to hear you folks share with us your happenings and your interaction with Ike. But when I first met Ike, it was in the 90s, and he always was kind of in the shadow of Earl White, his brother-in-law. And Earl and I were working on this building here, doing carpentry work and getting the sanctuary set up and so forth. And Ike was always there, but he didn't say a whole lot. He just worked. And we didn't talk a whole lot about life or past or anything like that. We had a job to do, and we were trying to get it done. And then Dorothea's brother-in-law, Bob Eshelman, some of you knew Bob, some of you didn't. He come up to me one day and he says, "You know, I was talking to Ike, and he sings tenor." Well, he said, we ought to get a group together. And so we talked about it, but didn't really do a whole lot until Marion Lindquist came. For those of you who knew Marion, he played the dobro, they call it. I always called it a Hawaiian guitar, but anyway, it's played out in front of you. And he had a very good singing voice. And so Bob said, "We got a quartet. We got a lead singer." We never had a lead singer before. I said, "We got a lead singer." We had a quartet and we played. And that sounds like, well, that was just a match made in heaven. But we didn't have any music, and we couldn't have read it if we did. We all played by ear, according to the words that we remembered and the tunes that we remembered, and they were seldom the same. And so it was always, what are the words and what are the music? But we always kind of went back to Ike, because he had sang them longer than the rest of us. And he come from a background that he said, "I know how this should be sung." And so we pretty much went with him. Very few deviations but not too much. And then Marion, if you remember Marion, if you knew Marion, he could make a train whistle from his voice, somehow. And so he always wanted to sing train songs. He said, we can sing religious train songs like life is like a railroad to heaven. Well, I can probably got a little older eyes. I don't know if that's a Sunday morning song. And Ike says, I really like bluegrass. And Eshelman, he didn't like bluegrass. He kind of rolled his eyes. And Eshelman said, I would like Christian music. Well, everybody said, well, I don't know what that is. That's past our time. We were singing before that. But anyway, we worked it out. And we sang Railroad to Heaven in church. And we sang Old Country Church, Ike's favorite in church. And we sang some Christian music as well. When Bob passed away in 2001, this left us with a threesome, and we got to sing more. And in 2003, Ike went and signed us up to sing at the Mercedes Stock Show in a competition. And so they said, that's fine, but what's the name of your group? Hey, we don't have a name. We don't know. And so he said, then what do we call it? So, well, we come up with Rio Trio. And so this is our Rio Trio, and this was the three of us that sang in Mercedes at the time. And I thought, well, this is kind of good exercise. I don't know, I don't know what kind of competition they have. They had some pretty good competitions there, but come at the end of it, we got second place. And Marion and I agreed the reason we got second place was because we sang Lonesome Cattle Call and Ike yodeled in the Lonesome Cattle Call. And we were in agreement. That's what put us over the top, because we weren't that great. And I was telling them before we started, the other lady that won first place was 91 years old, playing and dancing waltz across Texas, and we didn't stand a chance. She was wonderful. But anyway, we got our trophy. It's sitting back there in the back. You can look at it. But after Marion, his wife became ill and couldn't return, Ike says, what's going to happen to our trio? Where's our real trio? And so he said, what about Diana Tracy? She's got a good lead voice, and we can sing. And so Diana Tracy come in, and we were back in running and singing. And when Diana left, Ike says, what are we going to do now? And so we picked on Earl. Earl's got a lead voice, and we can go with that. And so we've survived. Well, we've lost Ike now, so we picked up Craig and try to keep the real trio alive. Anyway, Ike loved to sing, and he loves to play his harmonica. And we loved his harmonica playing, and we loved to sing. And he was just such a trooper as to adjust wherever needed, and was ready to go, ready to play. We always remember Ike for his leprechaun outfit. I guess a leprechaun outfit, yeah. And came every year for our St. Patrick's Day party with his little leprechaun outfit and his little mustache. And he was very, very decorative. And we all enjoyed it. We all enjoyed and remember him for that. The thing that I would like to say that more than that, Ike was the man that was here Sunday after Sunday, supported us, did what was asked for him to do, and we will always remember him as long as we live for the contribution he made. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Judy and give you a chance to share with us your knowledge about it.
Thank you, Fred. And yes, we do remember those times with him, don't we? And we went Christmas caroling, and he had his harmonica, and he forgot to bring it down with him, so his daughter had to send it down so he would have it, so we would go Christmas caroling. That was always fun. How about you now? Tell us some more about this character Ike. You come on up here.
I figured I'd carry on for Fred kind of said they pulled me into the group here for the Rio Trio. I'd always kind of known Ike just from church and talking with him, but I didn't really get to know Ike, a lot because, at church you just hello and talk, small talk and stuff like that. But once I got pulled into the Rio Trio, we started to sing. The first problem was all the songs they knew were 40 years before my time, and I heard of this one. No, well, here's a good one. No, I don't know that one either. It took a long time. They had to teach me the songs for the most part. Any songs I knew, they didn't know, so there was quite a bit of difference there. So that was a lot of fun, though, learning a lot of the songs that they did. I think for our first, Jim had a bunch of music, I think it was, that he got for Ike, and I started scanning the music, and that was probably the first I got acquainted with Ike, because he liked all these old songs. That was the first I'd seen a lot of those songs, just photocopying and getting all those put over to him on a computer file. I'm kind of the computer geek guy at church, so anybody has anything they need put on electronically, I kind of get hit up for that, so I enjoyed that. But once I got to know Ike through the Rio Trio, we got to talk a little bit more, go out to Dairy Queen and different things like that. And I started to learn Ike had a lot of interests that I had. He liked bicycling. He liked, fishing. And those are all things I grew up doing, from Wisconsin. He's from Wisconsin. I was from Wisconsin. And most of all, he was a cheesehead. He liked the Green Bay Packers. So that was one thing. I think that kind of drew us in kind of tight. But I really enjoyed Ike, and Ike was a really good friend, and good to miss Ike.
Any others? If you would rather stay put, just speak loudly. If that's hindering you from coming.
This is gonna be my stand-in here.
This is my
Oh,
stand.
okay.
If I don't trip on my way up.
Your mouthpiece.
You said a lot. In fact, you said things and I think, well, I won't say that. And then you say something else and it's kind of encompassed a lot. But Ike was 11 and a half years old when I was born. And I moved into the household. My mother was the oldest, and I grew up in the home. And so they had to attach on the obituary, special niece Gloria, But Ike was always good to me. He was always kind. He would play with me or, do fun things with me. And he and my grandpa would always hide Easter eggs and make Christmas and Easter and all those things special. And of course, I was spoiled. They all those kids, spoiled me. So I got my way a lot, and and they were the only two men, Lauren and my grandpa. It was all just girls, and so consequently, Lauren was spoiled. At the same time, they gave him a bad time. But he was very good about that. The obituary doesn't say enough about the fullness of his life. He was involved in a lot of things. One thing that's not been hit upon is that he was a boxer. He was in the Golden Gloves. Lauren is not very big, and he got into Golden Gloves. We knew his trainer, Tony Cassio, and when I was younger, I got to go to boxing matches and watch him fight. And I thought that was pretty nice. And he and my grandpa were sports people. And so football, there wasn't all the kind of sports we have now. So I heard a lot about football and boxing, and I liked it. I like to go. I don't anymore, but I'll go to that. But he was a good boxer. He did really well. I remember he came home from a fight one time and he had a cut on his eye. He said, "Yeah, I got knocked out this time, and it was his first time at TKO. Is that called TKO? technically knockout. But otherwise, he won a good share of his fights. When we talk to old friends people we know up in Grand Rapids area, we'll mention Lauren or Ike, and they say, like Lloyd will say, you know Lauren, Ike. Oh no, well, Tadpole. They only knew him by Tadpole. We still run into people like that say that. Oh, Tadpole, yes, yeah, I remember Tadpole. Oh gosh, how is he? He was a nice guy. He never talked about people. That was the one very important trait that you don't run into a lot anymore, or ever, I don't know. But he was always easygoing and kind and nice to be around. In 2009, Lloyd and I were planning a trip to come down here. We used to come down here every winter, but we hadn't been down here for a few years. So 2009, we were planning a trip down for maybe a month or 6 weeks or whatever. So Lloyd says, let's take Ike and Alice with us. And I said, are you sure? That's 3 days on the road with Lauren and Alice. And he said, well, of course, it'll be fine. I thought, oh my goodness. So anyway, we picked up Alice in the Twin Cities, and we met Lauren and Albert Lee. His son brought him over from Wisconsin. And in the car they went. And John, Lloyd warned him ahead of time now, bring your Depends, because we only stop for gas. So they were all prepared, They sang for 3 days. I'm serious. When they would run out of a song and it would get quiet, I'd put in a CD and that would remind them of another song. 3 days they sang, and I want to tell you, he never ran out of songs. And I'd hear Alice say, well, I never even heard of that one, because we grew up in a home where there was music all the time. And he knew songs I had never heard of. Because I heard a lot of them too. I knew the old songs, and he knew the words to all the songs. He loved music. He wrote a song. Did he and Alice write that song together? Valerie. And he got a guy to put it to music, and he played it over the radio in Wisconsin someplace once. And I think that if somebody could go through his archives of memorabilia, and he had a lot of it, music, that somebody would find that song. But I'm sure it's gone now. So he was a performer. We had a surprise 75th birthday for my mother. And so Alice and Lauren came to stay at our house while they prepared and created a skit and put it on tape, videotape. And after that, Alice said, don't ever ask me to work with Lauren again to a performance, because he's a perfectionist. So we've had a lot of good times, and he was a nice man, and we're going to miss him. And so thank you for having this memorial service for him again, for us to be able to attend, because we weren't able to attend the others. So thank you very much.
Thank you, special needs. Any others?
I'll just stand here.
Okay.
I was the one that inherited the leprechaun outfit. I have no idea why, but I got a hunch. And I used to play music with Ike. He came to our jams and our music shows and stuff. And I would ask him if he knew any of the songs that we did. And he said, no. Well, I ended up with his songbook. And most of the songs in his songbooks were songs that we sang, but he didn't know any of them. He said, I never heard of them before. But I was going through his book yesterday, and I was looking at songs that are still being played today on the radio, and I'm thinking, and he told me he didn't know these songs, but then I'd take him fishing and all he did was sit in the boat and he would sing. I said, Ike, are you gonna sing or are you gonna fish? And he said, well, maybe I'll just do both. And we had a good time. But that's my memories of him, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that. The leprechaun outfit, I don't know, we'll do something.
Oh, we certainly will. Have to remember that one. Any others? Don't be shy. Bonnie?
No, I've got lots of them, but I can't say them.
You know, I was thinking too that game with the Dallas and Green Bay.
I didn't want to say it, but
I kind of figured, well, that's one last stab at his sister. Don't you think?
He loved it. He would have loved it.
Oh, he does.
He does.
He does.
I just want to say, one year I rode from Minneapolis down here with him in the motorhome, and we sang all the way down.
Oh, she does sing. She said she
I
does
don't
sing.
anymore. That was a few years ago. But he knew the word better than I did.
Yes.
I will talk about Ike, as I lived in the same park as him at Eastgate. And I remember golf, Wednesday golf, well, the park golf guy, whoever golf got together. We'd go out and play 9 holes of best ball, and then at the end of the season, they would have a kind of a get together like the last time you went out. And in those days, a lot of people would dress up and stuff. That's when they wore that leprechaun outfit and played. I'm sure he played golf in it as well. I've got pictures. And then Eileen would wear that cheese hat. Oh, I think you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But they were good friends of he and Eileen, of my husband and I, and he was just a very sweet and easy to talk to, a likable man, and I'll miss him.
Okay, there are none others. We will continue with our bulletin. Pat?
And since we have, this is our old hymnal, you notice the new hymnals are in the backs of the seats. Since we have this old hymnal, will you turn to page or to Song 124? But I thought we'd just say it. And you can follow along with me, and you can join me if you'd like. The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me down to lie in pastures green. He leadeth me the quiet waters by. My soul he doth restore again, and me to walk doth make within the paths of righteousness, e'en for his own name's sake. Yea, though I walk in death's dark vale, yet will I fear no ill. For thou art with me, and my rod and staff me comfort still. My table thou hast furnished in presence of my foes. My head thou dost with oil anoint, and my cup overflows. Goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me, and in God's house forevermore my dwelling place shall be. Amen and amen.
I've been asked to sing in the garden, and if you want to sing along with me, please do. It's quite okay. You can see a seat. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God is closest, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and tells me I am His own, and the joys we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joys we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'd stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me be falling, but He bids me go from the voice of woe, and His voice to me is calling, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joys we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
You keep it right there. Keep it right there. I'm going to ask you, as we get the benediction, we can play that in the background. The guitar, okay? Go ahead, you get started.
Just want me to play?
Our Father in heaven, we have gathered this day to say goodbye to Ike Longhorn. We've come to realize that you so loved the world. You gave us Ike for a short while. And now Ike has returned to his Creator. Lord, we now feel the emptiness. That's the way it is with us human beings. So we have come today, reluctantly, to offer Ike back to you. And in so doing, we offer ourselves and are here to say boldly, Our Father, and to pray, Thy will be done. We understand that we cannot hang on, we must let go. But we also know that you are holding Ike's hand, and you will never let it go. And that's good. And again, thank you for the gift of Ike Longbow. Amen and amen.
Old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne will take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne, and here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang